There's a phone book here. All right, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Public Utilities Commission for Thursday, January 8th, 2026. The time now is 3:31 p.m. This is a regular meeting. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, everyone. I might go ahead before I do public input. Start with a couple of introductions. As some of you may know, we had a change to our charter, which added new positions to the Public Utilities Commission. So we also have a new member in that, being part of the Public Utilities Commission. You're a member of the Board of Selectmen. So first off, welcome Penny Kessler to the Public Utilities Commission.
Thank you.
You're going to find it's an exciting place. It's a little bit different than Board of Selectmen, but you'll have a good time. I also want to recognize we're bringing back a guy. He's been here forever. What you left this last month? Richard Straighton, appointed to one of the new seats, and also Paul Zakowski, past selectman, and also past treasurer. So thank you both for being willing to come back on the PUC. You've got a wealth of experience, and it's great to have you. So with that, we'll begin with public input. I get the public, right? You get any input? Outstanding. Any correspondence, Kathy?
No.
Perfect. We have one set of minutes. I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of December 11th, 2025. Now, I realize that some of you are not here. We're not here. There's a lot of times folks have believed that there's a practice that you can't approve minutes if you weren't there. That's actually not the case. You can approve minutes because what you're doing is you're approving minutes for the body. You have to go through and review the minutes to the best you can, but you can still vote on it as approving the minutes for the body. Just want to put that out there. I think we're okay. If you want to abstain because you were there, it's fine, but I think we have a quorum. You guys were both there, right? Yeah, yep. I was here. Yep. So
yeah, three of you.
Three. Yep. Well, I should inform now it's four. So I'd say we're not in a problem with the quorum. We can approve the minutes because of that piece of it. So with that, again, I would accept a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th. Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor or any discussion about the minutes? Anything that, if there's anything, someone who hasn't been here and has any questions about the meeting minutes, this would be the time to speak up. See none, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. You can start proof.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Up to abstentions. So we're good. Get those, Cap?
Yes.
I thought I heard you guys say aye. I maybe I get in a habit. Okay, next up, financial report.
Right. So we are having this meeting as early in the month as possible, which was fine for me. I was gonna be able to get the report done. Paul is away. So in here, you'll notice that the revenue numbers and the collections, it's all the same information that was in November.
Okay.
For Paul and Rich, you get a preview of what happened in November's report. So just to let you know, that's not updated. For our next meeting, I'll have December's numbers and January's. It just Paul is away. She told me she was going to have it. And some of it is where we're about as early as we can meet. So if you look at just the summary page up front, even without any updated numbers, we're still in a surplus position with both those pieces. Sewer is not as much, and that has to do with the fact that we paid the majority of our debt for the year for sewer already. It's just based on the timing of the debt payments. We've already paid $842,000 of the $985,000. If that was straight line and we'd only paid half of it, the sewer would look like it was in a bigger surplus. I took a look at it like I do every month. I know Tom takes a look at it. I didn't see, knock on wood, I didn't see anything that really stuck out. I know we had a couple breaks that we probably haven't had all the bills for yet. But there wasn't really anything that really stuck out in December. December is usually a slower month anyway for getting bills in and getting them processed. So I don't really have anything else. I know that's kind of a short director report, but
Financial report, right?
financial report. Yeah.
Right.
Brad, not being here for the 2 months,
you were gonna contact Danbury about, the money that we owed them. Did you get an
So-
answer from them?
Tom reached out to try to get more detail of what the bill was. They sent us a little something. We asked for more and more history. I haven't heard anything. Have you, Tom?
No, you're talking about the email I sent maybe 3 weeks ago, give or take?
No, probably longer ago than that,
Uh,
unless you sent them more recently. But
I
like,
thought, and I thought I might have copied you on it. I
That's
sent it to
like-
David, I sent it to the finance director, and I thought I copied you.
all right, I
Again,
don't-
asking for further backup.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have it in actual numbers, but what were your estimate numbers to get us to where we are?
Yeah.
So we paid them something?
Nope.
No, you haven't. Okay, so
So we put on our 2025 books, the $1.2 million that they say we owe us. We're not paying them $1.2 million without better backup.
Okay.
Honestly, if they came in at the $1 million, which it usually is, usually it's within a range between like 920 and 1040. If it was in that range, we probably would have paid it and still asked the questions. With them looking for an additional 200,000 over what it's ever been, we didn't pay it.
And they gave us 1 year's worth of estimates, I think.
Yeah.
And you can see why the numbers were up. Their Veolia contract was high,
Yeah.
so that adds to the cost. And our flow numbers were about what they are, but their flow numbers, the total flow numbers were down a bit, which made our percentage higher. That's what they explained to us, but we wanted to see additional years worth of information.
okay, well, I was just curious
Yeah.
if that was resolved, but apparently
Yeah,
that.
so it's not, and amazingly, they're not jumping up and down looking for their $1.2 million. So, until we kind of get what we want. Honestly, if they reached out and said, we'll get it to you, so can you release $1 million of it? We would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unless they're watching you going, hey, we'll reach out. But until we are satisfied with what they're giving us, we're not paying, in essence, a 20% increase over what we think it should be without some kind of backup on it.
Well,
With more backup.
all I was asking is, if
Yeah.
that got resolved in the time I wasn't
No.
here, so. that's-
Okay. And honestly, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time chasing them for it.
No, I understand.
We're the one holding the money, so they should chase us. So, Paul, did you have a question? I don't wanna, sorry, I'm taking the chairs, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Helping them, I'm 4 years behind here. What about when they put the addition onto that plant, is that inclusive in this number that you're talking about? It's not.
This is the O&M, this is the annual O&M costs.
Pardon me?
This is the annual O&M,
Oh, okay.
operations and
Okay,
maintenance
cool.
costs,
Yeah.
which we've always dealt with.
Yeah.
But they kind of fell behind with giving us current information over the last 3 years.
Yep.
So now the increase is what it is, but we haven't seen how have they gotten there. And we just want to have that extra material so we know what we're presenting here.
Have we historically got that information when, or have we just been paying the bill blindly anyway?
We used to get, so they'd give us an estimated for that year and a true up of the prior. year.
Exactly.
Right.
This newest bill just said estimated and had 1.2. There was no if they said 200,000 of this is a true up from the prior 2 years, I would go, okay, that makes more sense. They're not really looking to go from 1 million to 1.2. They're looking to go from, probably the last one we paid was probably like 950. If it was going from 950 to 1 million to 1,050,000, and some of this $200,000 variance was that catch up, and they could show us each year and that they didn't send us a true up, that's the kind of backup we'd be looking for.
Right.
I don't even know if they're trying to true up the prior years. It doesn't seem like on their bill.
And that's what we're asking them for.
Yeah.
They kind of fell behind with keeping up with that.
And so I know Penny's newer to this board, and Paul, you're back. So when Danbury did their big plant, Bethel's 15 or 17% of that.
About almost 17%.
So that $100 million project that they did, Bethel's supposed to pay 15 to 17% of that. They've been up and running. We haven't paid a dime towards that yet. So at some point we know we're going to owe for that big project. Again, they're so far behind in what they're doing financially, giving us as much of their money. We still haven't done anything with that big debt that we have. So at some point we're going to figure out sewer's sitting on last time I checked, like $9 million. So we probably will not bond the whole say it's 15 million. Because I think the project, last we heard, it was more like 90, right?
It's in
It's
that
like
90 to,
90 to
it's in that 90 to 100.
So again, I was at a conference with their finance director 2 years ago now, and said, "Oh, when you guys, oh yeah, we got to get into that."
So again, so everybody understands, especially Henry, we're talking about the project over to expand the ability for Danbury to take more product, whatever you call it. And it's $100 $100 million project.
Yeah.
We're paying a portion of that,
Correct.
which is 15 to 18 million.
Yes.
We're thinking.
Yeah. So, and initially when they started that project, they wanted us to pay our portion as we went and do a bunch of different bondings. And the first selectman at the time said, "No, we're not doing that." They went over there, met with them, said, "You guys just do it and bill us when it's done." And here we are. It's been operational at least a year, probably closer to 2.
And the numbers came down to what allocation Bethel said they still wanted to have. We've had a 2 million gallon a day allocation for quite a while. And their plant was being upgraded to total 12.2 million gallons. So that's where our percentage comes in. It's 2 out of the 12.2, which I think is roughly just under 17%. And that's, so until we know what the final number is, that's going to be the percent and that's for the capital improvements to the plant.
Yeah. So 16.4%.
So just a quick question, when they eventually figure out that we owe them money.
Yeah.
And ask for it, are we going to be liable for back payments, interest payments?
They haven't billed us for it. So I would fight that battle all day long and say no. Like we've asked for it. You know, like I've had conversations with their finance director. Like Tom's had conversations with their utility director about it. Like
I've asked if you wanted me to have a conversation with the mayor. I'm happy to do that too. But we've just been sitting, waiting instead of.
So our answer would be no. You know, but if they went after us, it'd be a whole different conversation. But so the answer, right? We will, if they told us today and gave us backup for the 1.2, we'd pay it. The board's actually already approved the 1.2. So we have the ability to pay it when we're satisfied with it.
To your suggestion, I don't think that's a bad idea because we're already January.
Yep.
We're another half a year in.
Yeah.
I could forward you the email that we've sent them. And then that would give you something to forward on to the mayor to say, you know, can you nudge these guys a little bit and, you know, see where we're at.
Yeah.
But any further questions on the financial report? Very good. Okay, next up we have invoices. And I'll make the motion. I move that we approve $597,962.49 in invoices. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so do we go through these for us there?
Sure. And I don't have the spreadsheet, but
You don't? Okay.
the first one being all right, Kovac.
Yep.
So basically Bergstrom, we're at the final stage. The loan needs to be closed by the end of February.
Right.
So this is basically the final invoice. This amount includes over $500,000 worth of the retainage that we've been holding. So in order to get all of that approved and rolled into the loan, this is the number that basically we owe out. And we're going to still hold on to some retainage. We've been holding 5%. So on these projects, the last invoice covers the remainder of the retainage. We get all of that approved, but the check we cut to them is less. We're going to give them back 3% of the retainage because we're going to hold 2% of the retainage. So of this number, I guess it's 553, 611, 28 cents. 300,242.85 is the 3% of the retainage we've been holding. 52,000 is the current amount for the month of December. So we're gonna cut them a check for 352 in effect. We're gonna hold on to 201. And then as we get the record drawings, all the O&M manuals, any punch list items, then that retainage can be reduced. But we've got to get it all approved now so that the
Right.
state can approve it, roll it into the loan, and actually reimburse us for it as well. So that's where we're at. It's pretty typical of all these projects where you roll that retainage in at the end. So
Mhm.
that's the Kovacs piece. The next piece was the Wright Pierce, and they haven't finished all of their work yet, but they're billing out the remainder of theirs as well. And that number, 39,000 plus, we will be cutting them a check this month for what they did in December, which is 17,917. So we're gonna hold on to another 21,000 of Wright Pierce's until, they bill that out as, again, the record drawings get done and the O&M manuals get completed. So, but you gotta roll everything into the project now at this time. So that was that one. And then the third one is just SCADA, which we're sort of now getting started with our contractor, NIC. We've had a couple of meetings. There's going to be some design changes based on the communication. The radio communication is no longer available. We're going to have to switch gears and go to cellular. And without getting too into it, Paul, I can mention to you and Penny, the original design had radio communications between our sites. Long story short, they discovered Eversource owns and controls the radio frequency. They just pulled the carpet out from under New Haven Wastewater, who was coming to the end of a project utilizing radio, and they said they cannot use that frequency. So they are now in a position of switching their project to utilize cellular. So we and luckily our contractor is doing that project. They were aware of it before we've gotten really too far into building out our project. They are going to basically switch gears and present something with cellular instead of radio. So anyway, long story short, the SCADA is just an ongoing monthly bill for that.
And this is basically the engineering, the design piece, right? Because it says they're 58% through, but we have a whole nother.
It's 58% of everything we've been doing. I've kind of
Right.
lumped it all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's the backstory to the 3 invoices.
So we're gonna pay the 5,000? No.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, there's no retainage there. Paul, that project is kind of just now getting going into the construction.
It's been a long time going.
Yeah, we've been doing the design up until now. We finally had a bid opening. We have NIC Corporation NIC Systems is the integrator, which is great because they turned out to be the integrator that did Bergstrom.
Okay.
And they have a very stellar, reputation in Connecticut with all utilities.
Any further comments or discussion on the invoices as they stand? Seeing none, our current minds, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I will ask this one, with respect to closing out the loan, is there any kind of authorization or anything special that I need, or you already?
Yeah, I'm gonna now reach out and,
Okay,
Coleman and Conley is aware.
okay,
So I'll reach out to Jessica and, she'll start putting that piece together. All the closing documents, there'll be signatures and all of that. And, but that's not, what I'm gonna do with this, I submit to the state. They're gonna approve all the money probably in early February. So
okay,
sometime before the end of February, we'll have the closing.
sounds good. All right, under new business, 15 Great Pasture Road.
This is the proposal we've talked about now for a bit. It's the very end of Worcester Street. The property, I guess we have our piece of it as 0 Worcester Street, but in Danbury, it's 15 Great Pasture. And, I've asked Mike Epiletti to come in. He's the owner of the property, proposing it. They've been through their inland wetlands, I think, in both towns. They're going to be before P and Z now in both towns. This is what we've been talking about in terms of working out an agreement with the town of Danbury to basically take the sewers that are going to be generated in Danbury transport them through Bethel's collection system back to Danbury. So, with that said, I asked Mike to just come in and give us a brief update on the project and get some of our new members up to speed and give us an update on where we're at with, anything that Danbury's doing with the, potential agreement.
So we are proposing a 60,000 square foot, what I call micro bay industrial. It's small 10 spaces. About 50,000 of the square feet of the project in Danbury, 10 or 11,000 in Bethel at the Worcester Street address. We've been working with the city of Danbury to properties in the sewer district of the city of Danbury, but the property's not connected to the Bethel sewer system. And we're trying to get an interlocal agreement, which the city of Danbury says they've drafted and is supposed to be delivered to the town of Bethel soon. And so we're before, we went before the Wetlands Commission in Danbury, it was approved. The Wetlands Commission in Bethel approved. It is before the land use departments in Danbury. It's administrative approval there. And we're before planning and zoning, I think on the 27th of January for the Bethel component of the project. I don't know what else I can tell you about it other than that. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, listen, Mike, it's a great project. Like we've kind of been months and months now that we were talking about this and brought it up to the folks in Danbury. And they said they'd look into it, and I'm glad it's moving in the right direction. I think it's great for both the, Danbury and Bethel. And so everybody understands their sewer in Danbury was just too far away from the Danbury side. We already had the Bethel side on our sewer system, which we didn't really know for a while. We figured that out. And then what this does now is allows us to take the Danbury side, just hook it to ours, which helps both properties now, develop. And then we'll get a credit back every year for what we send to Danbury. This is similar to the interlocal agreement that we use over in Colpit, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Colpit Hill Road.
Colpit Hill, we have one like that as well. So it's a great way to partner with Danbury. No skin off our back. It doesn't affect our allocation. That's the important part. We get credit back for the allocation.
On the Danbury buildings.
Yes.
For the Bethel building, and I'm not really prepared with what your allocation is going to need to be. So we are going to need to give him a sewer allocation, which we can do at our next meeting, because you're going to be before Bethel
Yeah.
P and Z into February. So before you're at a P and Z, we'll have time at our next meeting to give you that allocation. And on the industrial uses, it's like 10 gallons per 1,000 square feet of building. So you're looking at what, 11,000?
I think it's around 10 or 11,000.
So we're looking at about 110 gallons a day. for that
Technically,
building.
you were on the system for one bathroom, right? In the building, there's one bathroom on ours and there's one on septic or something.
The majority of the building, the industrial building that's there now is actually on the septic system in Danbury.
Okay.
We're not sure how this happened, but the prior owners was CBS Corporation. They used to manufacture 8-track tapes there. They had some sort of agreement with Bethel where they ran the sewer line up to the building and connected the building on the Bethel side of the building.
Right. Okay.
And very low flow. There's virtually nothing. It's an industrial building and it's primarily was used for warehousing. There was really very low usage there, but it is connected to the Bethel system.
And I mean, the project's going to have now, when you build it all out, the septic's going to get abandoned.
Yes.
All the buildings are going to get sewered and then discharged into our system. So we'll eventually have some kind of a reading device on your water meter in the Bethel building so that we can bill you based on those gallons.
Yeah, and the Bethel building will operate just like as if it was built in.
Correct. And the Danbury buildings, I'll probably get from you your Danbury bills as you get them. So we'll know what kind of a credit we're going to have coming back to us at the end.
I would
Credit
imagine-
from Danbury.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Right.
So the Danbury, they meter their sewer through water usage as
Correct,
well.
like
So-
us.
And they have the meter in our building, so I would imagine they would be handling that.
Yeah, probably each building will have its own meter. So the
Yes.
whole property will be basically a Danbury utility water customer,
Yes.
even the Bethel building. Because we
Well, no,
don't,
I think the Bethel building might come off the Bethel system.
I don't think our water main goes up that far.
I think there's a hydrant across the way.
That's a temporary.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
The last hydrant is across the driveway. Can't fall. That's where main is.
Okay.
So I picture all the buildings being served by Danbury Water. And I talked to our meter person, there's a device, basically there's a reading device mounted on the outside of your building. Another device can be added to that so that we can have our device on there as well.
Got it.
So that's how we'll end up billing sewer for the Bethel building only.
So you'll read Danbury's water usage for Bethel's sewer usage.
Correct.
Okay. Now, as far as allocation, that comes later, so there's nothing to do to act on this.
I don't have an official number,
This is
but I think
informational.
we can have that at the next meeting, and I think that won't delay you with PNC.
And we can get that to you. Junior.
Yep.
Excellent. Any questions anybody would like to ask about the project or? Fantastic. Mike, thank you for being here. Thank you. Sure, appreciate it. Director's report.
Okay, Kel, I don't know, were you in touch with the Maple Well on yours? I'll skip over.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, Maple Well, 2A, which we were using through the end of the summer, which we knew was in a position of needing to be cleaned. SB Church started on it last week. We're still in the middle of getting that, done. As it turned out, when they took it all apart, the check valve needs to be replaced. There's like a plastic, set of pipe, call it a stilling tube that reads from the, transducer. That needs to get replaced. And so we're waiting on the check valve at this point. It should all get put back together when the check valve arrives. They thought either at the end of next week or the very beginning part of the following week. We were doing our cleanings. They were still pulling out material and the water still had an orange tint. So there was still some iron that they were pulling out of it. So I went ahead, since they were mobilized, I had them do an extra, 2 extra hypo cleanings. They put in more hypo and then did it overnight and pumped it out like for 2 extra times, which was good. And then by the end of that, they got the water nice and clean. So it looked like we got, the iron that was in and around the well out of the system. Like I said, that should be back in service in the next week, beginning of the next. And then at least we have that source available to us for if and when we need to take the Bergstrom well offline. Speaking of Bergstrom well, we got our diversion permit approved. We had one originally, it expired because they have a condition that we've got to be able to take the water within a 3-year period. Well, we were designing and building the thing in that time frame. So I had to go through getting the diversion permit application in again, and we're all set there. So we have a 25-year permit now with Bergstrom well. I took our initial set of PFAS samples from Bergstrom, and they all came out with results that were below all the maximum contaminant levels that are being proposed. The one sample that we had from 2018, 6 PFAS chemicals were sampled. 5 of them were non-detect. 1 of them had a positive result of 2. So I was hoping that we would still be under the limit of 4. And in fact, we are. We had, I think, 5 or 6 contaminants out of 18 that were tested that had a result. They were all less than 2. They range from about 1.25 to about 1.9 or something like that. So the 2 main ones, PFOA and PFAS, with the MCL of 4, we are below that MCL. So I think what that means is we don't necessarily have to put a treatment system in. So that's positive.
I got a question. So if we don't have to put a treatment system in, you know where I'm going, what happens to the money we're getting from the PFAS settlement? Do we just leave it there till someday we might have to?
No, because we're going to probably have to use it at Maple Avenue wells. This is the Bergstrom well.
There you go. All right.
So we know we're slightly over 4.
Right.
If they had made that MCL 8 or 6, we might have been in the same position. So we set up an account. Brad's holding on to that money. That will be something we've got to do in the next 3 years, give or take. We have to get a design going and a construction. I think we have to be in place by 2031.
Okay.
So it's coming up on us.
Now, do they, like so many other regs, do they have an action level at 50%?
that you have to start working on?
Well, they started out with action levels. I think EPA had an action level of 70 with the, if you add it up, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 of those constituents. And then they've just ratcheted it down and now they've set MCLs. So you usually don't have an action level. You might have a goal. The goal is probably 0 and the MCL is 4. So, but you got, usually when there's an MCL, then that kind of takes precedent. That's like the law.
Okay.
An action level might be, hey, you shouldn't, exceed this and you may have to do something, but I don't think it's as binding. I had to send annual letters to our unknown, the lead and copper rule requires letters to go out to anyone who is an unknown service material. So we've been doing that for the last year and almost 2 years. We've whittled it down a bit, but we still have quite a few unknowns. The main problem being we don't know the street side portion of the service. We can get into the customer side and look at the foundation and determine what's coming in. But on any of those that are unknown on the street side, the only way of knowing is going to be to do some kind of an excavation and a visual. So at this point, I'm still just working on going out to customers and getting appointments and trying to get in to at least check everybody's building side. And then we'll have to put something together where we have to go about checking our street side. The good news is to date, we haven't found any lead pipe, any lead services. There's been lead whips or goosenecks, which, they're not counting that as a lead service. If you got a 2-foot piece going to a piece of galvanized. So there's a lot of unknowns still, and we're still working on that. But anyway, letters have to go out once a year. Last, I got a notice from the health department, our water supply plan, which is a document that looks at everything you're doing, what your population is, what your growth rate's going to be, what all your existing systems are. It's due about every 8 or 9 years. Our last one was 2017. I got a letter from them. It's due this year. So I'm probably going to reach out to Wright Pierce and ask them to give me a proposal on updating our existing plan to get it going forward for 2026. You're usually looking at like a 50-year planning horizon. So adding the Bergstrom well along now with the Maple wells, I think our supply situation is going to be in good shape. But decisions will have to be made about Eureka, Chestnut. So I'll bring this topic up again as we go and probably have some discussion on it.
And Wright Pierce did the last one.
They did. They may have done the last 2.
That's 2.
I'm not sure about the one before the last one, but
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to them. Next meeting, I'll be able to report back as to what the damage is.
How many years did you say? Every 5 years?
I think it's like every 9. It's kind of weird. But it was 2017, so they did send me the letter and they're looking at 2026. So.
We're gonna look at a sewer rate at some point too, right?
Yeah, in conjunction with the monies that we're gonna have to pay for the Danbury plant.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to do, I've asked Kelsey to start getting me some information, is surrounding towns and what their connection fees are, just to see and compare to our connection fees. That might be an opportunity where, some revenue can be generated by the new people coming in versus on the backs of our existing customers.
Just so I know, well, we haven't changed it since you left, Paul, on the sewer pipe. And Penny, ever since the town split water and sewer, probably about 15 years ago, sewer's rate hasn't changed. Waters has gone up as they've worked on the infrastructure. Sewer we haven't touched, and like I said earlier, sewer has roughly $9 million in the bank. So that rate hasn't had to change. Reason we haven't looked at lower it, because we knew this 15, 16, 17 million dollar bills coming. We didn't think it would take this long to get, but at some point we're going to have to look at that rate. Because when we pay $15 million and we bond, even if we bond 5 million of it, the it might not be enough. So we'll have to look at it.
Brad, just roughly, what did we, I don't want to say profit, but what's profit per year?
It jumps all around,
It
so
does.
it's, in a second, like, some of it's so based on, some of the reason that sewer has a profit too, when you look at the cash, is because of the sewer project, right? So when they put in all the sewer lines,
The assessment you're
the
saying.
assessments, yes. If you got a $23,000 assessment on your house, we built out that you're gonna pay it off. Is it 15 or 20?
I think
20.
I think it's 20. So we took all the debt on a 20-year schedule, but you had the ability to go, I don't want to pay interest on that. I have the money sitting in the bank. So some of those people have paid up front. So some of it, it's not like this money's just been, like it's been collected, but some of it is to pay future debt payments. It'd be silly to like not use that money to pay what we owe Danbury because it's sitting there. You know, like why pay interest on that money when we don't need to? So in essence, we'd be using some of the sewer assessment money we collected early, pay that. So it's not necessarily what's it been generating as revenue. It's more, some of it's the early payment.
you got it up front.
So it's convoluted, yeah. Because we haven't paid our debt is locked in for the sewer piece of it. We did refinance it last year to save some money. But those debt payments are still gonna exist, and at some point, we're not gonna be collecting as much on those assessments because some of those people have prepaid. There's also gonna be some people that were probably late and they're paying more than they normally, you know, like, but those people aren't gonna balance out anybody that like if you sold your house and had $10,000 left on it, I bet you some of those people paid off that 10,000, so they didn't have this thing hanging around their house when they went to go sell it, if they have the ability to, obviously. So with this, our old system that we were using, that Paula spent a ton of time switching off last year, the reporting on the assessments was bad. I haven't had a chance to have the conversation with her about how that, but there's a reason we moved off the old system. And some of that is like, if you looked up like former comptroller lived in that district, like in some ways you run one report, it only shows the original principal, not what was left. So the whole thing was messy. So hopefully QDS is gonna be so much better for that. So.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
If you're
All
talking,
set, no.
all right. MIU, to the old business here, MIU replacements.
We're down to 90 from 102, so we're gaining on it. Letters went out along with the lead and copper letters. So we're just slowly digging at it. We've also been working on going out and doing the appointments that they've set up on the lead and copper, taking pictures, verifying what's coming into the homes, and also just our usual service calls, high usage stuff like that. But MIU wise, we are down to
You kind of have a feeling on what, like, how far does it go up and come down in a quarter? How fast do they fail, I guess?
I would say it probably varies about 25 a quarter. You know, because we changed a lot of the MIUs and now some of the heads are going back.
Okay.
So the ones that we changed out, when we've got actual reads, now they're coming up estimated again. And that's going in and changing the head. So basically if we're changing the register, 9 times out of 10, we're going after the head of the meter too.
So that's kind of, you're changing that and just doing
At
both
the
now?
same time, yeah.
And we track how many fail every month.
I follow I have a list that I go through and like I say, it's gonna pick up again next month because we got reading again. This month, so. Yeah, I mean, right now we're staying right around that 100 mark. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down.
Yeah.
Because of the new ones coming in.
But knowing how many we fail will give us a good handle on how many we should need to have in stock and replace.
Yeah, we do.
So we need that number. Yeah, I mean, is that number published somewhere? Tom, do you know that number?
How many MIUs we have?
No, fail
I
every
don't.
month.
No,
on average.
I don't have that.
But it's a
But
number.
Kelly's been kind of keeping track of how many he's doing and he
When I
keeps
get
his
down to
list.
one box, I get another box. It's just the way it's been going. You know, the records show how many we buy, you know, by the billing. We split the cost of the billing between water and sewer.
Right, but we should have the failure rate number. That should be a number that's available.
Question from ignorance. I'm new. What is an MIU? I'm assuming it has something to do with metal.
It's actually the reader that attaches to the meter head, the meter itself. So when the guys go up and down the street with their electronic device, it reads the meter, it reads the device. All this was done in the early 2000s. They were all changed out to this style for the starting. And we're noticing they fail more in cold weather. They have batteries in them. The life expectancy of the battery is about 20 years, and we're past that now. So now we're changing them out. What we're finding is with the new batteries and the old heads, it's making the heads fail also. And the head is right on top of the meter, and that's basically just attaching 3 wires to it and screwing it down. But what we have is people that are working all week long trying to get an appointment, or they come home late, or they're tenants that don't pass it on to the homeowners. So that's what we're working at right now.
It's probably an important, I was gonna say it's an important distinction. Some are inside, some are outside.
Yeah, we sent people letters and we've noted, you know, if you get an E on your bill, that means an estimate. A is an actual. So if you have an E, call us and make an appointment. So some people generate their own calls so that we can go out there. So we're just doing what we can to try to get into all of these. And it's a meter interface unit is what it's standing
Got it.
for.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Not a dumb question. Please, honestly, in this room, feel free to ask questions. It's a whole new world.
Oh, you are gonna be so sorry. You
No,
said
but
that.
also between, Tom and me speaking Tom, but also I am perfectly okay to be able to talk to you about policy procedures and the actual structure. I'll have to do that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so, you can meet anytime.
Thank you.
Okay, the, PUC capital project status summary.
I basically hit on those
Yep.
2 projects. The third one, we have a sewer project. I think the electrician was there today.
Exactly.
So I think he's mobilizing now. He said he had some emergencies over the holiday period. So it's Clark Park 1. We have a new generator. So that's going to get installed. He's kind of rewiring it, taking out the old cabinet and rebuilding it into a new cabinet. And then we'll get the generator set. So that should happen hopefully by the end of but before the next meeting.
Okay.
That's it.
A PFAS class action update.
No,
Okay.
nothing new.
Just so you know, that is, there's a class action where we have money coming in from 3M, DuPont, and somebody else. We're
Right.
collecting money, holding an account. Not for the future. Sewer capacity update.
Oh, okay. So I think this has been on the agenda for the last couple of meetings. Something that we've talked about over the course of the last year. We have a proposal from Ty and Bond. They did our last sewer capacity update report. So I thought it'd be best to just go back to them. They have a lot of our data. They gave us a proposal. I had no issues with how they've written it up. They're going to basically, you know, review all of our existing information and flows. They're going to then look at any undeveloped properties and do like a build out analysis to try to generate what future sewer flows are going to be. Compare those to what our agreements are with Danbury to see are we above or are we below, make some recommendations. And they're going to have a workshop with us after they do a draft report. And then with whatever input we give to them, they'll generate a final report. I think Melanie had some issues, not issues, but questions about some of the, what I'll call the boilerplate terms and conditions. And I think she's been communicating with them with respect to some revisions.
Right.
So on the technical side, I was good. And then
Yeah.
She can cover that.
We checked out behavioral reform and they did make some material things we asked for. So we're okay with seeing the form and you're okay with substance. So then you can go ahead and entertain your motion.
Okay, so actually, what I'll do is I'll make a motion because it's really just to be able to sign the contract at this point.
Right, do the commission approves it, right?
Right. Okay,
Right.
So basically what we have before us, we have the, sanitary sewer system valuation update paperwork. So this is what they're gonna do, the scope, give a contract.
Right, the contract, this is not the final contract with
Right.
our revisions, but
Right, but I have to get authorization to do the contract. Okay, so with that, I'd like to make a motion that the first selectman chair of PUC be authorized to sign the contract for the tie and bond sanitary sewer system capacity evaluation update and do anything and all necessary to execute the contract.
I thought you just approved the contract itself,
Do we-
that it's acceptable.
I'll say it again now.
Like, so you
Oh, I have to
authorize
approve.
this, it to be
Right.
signed, but it actually just has to be approved, that they approve the contract.
Well, you told me, so we have, so what motion is in order then?
It's in order to ask the commission to approve the contract.
Okay. So do they actually have the contract?
No,
Okay.
not the final contract, but
Right.
as, it's this contract as approved and reviewed and approved by council.
Okay, fair enough. Got it. So I make a motion that we have authorization and we approve the contract that has been reviewed by council.
You want to put the dollar amount in?
I think, did we already approve the,
Not to exceed.
did we already approve the number?
Probably not.
Okay,
62,900.
okay, and enter to the agreement with not to exceed $62,900.
And this is what, for 3 years?
This is for a capacity update, a capacity study. This is for the upgrade capacity, to look at the whole study and see where we are, right? Got that right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's not a 3-year thing. I think it's a 6-month.
This
Work
hasn't
to
been
come
done since
completed.
2014, Tom, is that?
2009.
2009, so it's been, right.
What was 14? Was that the water capacity? Something, I'm not, don't worry about it. Okay, wait, second from Vito, this is just to approve the contract approved by, or reviewed by the town council.
Says here 16 weeks for them to complete.
Uh,
We have 3 requirements here, so the town will provide. Are we good with all those, Tom?
Yeah, whatever data they're gonna need, we'll get it to them.
You have it already or?
Pretty much. I just gotta tie it together. I may have already sent, I know I sent them a bunch of stuff already for them to look at in order to put together a proposal, so.
And really the big changes here, one of the things that we were changing with town council was our liability. Like they only had $100,000 worth of liability. Melanie got that up to 1 million, 2 million. And there were a couple other changes that they love to have in their contracts, and Melanie beat them down. Any of the big ones?
We just have to go to give copies of the documentation under FOI and, I would be certain that we have ownership of the documents after things were done. And they're very,
Yeah.
it's a work product, they have wording about, we want those documents.
Did you get a second there?
I have a second with, Dino. Yes.
Second.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure your mind, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions, any nays? Hearing none, motion passes. Now do I have to get, or does the final contract comes back? Or do I need to? Okay,
We'll just authorize, I'll speak to my bond and say that,
okay.
it's acceptable, to give me a final for you to sign.
Okay, so I need to do a motion to be authorized to sign. We do this in the Board of Selectmen a lot about 2 motions.
Right.
We've approved the contract, so we're good.
So this is a question, if it's something that's a service.
We can do, 'cause
Already,
it's in the budget.
it's already under the budget,
Okay.
it really isn't necessary because you already are authorizing the charter to do
Okay.
that. So as long as the money it's in town's budget and it's gonna be paid for, you don't have to go to the Board of Finance
Okay.
or something, because then you.
Well, it wasn't so much a Board of Finance. I just know
Right.
so many times on the Board of Selectmen side, we always ask for authorization to sign it. But by charter, we're already authorized to sign something from the budget
as long
under
as that's the case.
procurement. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
cool. Utility supervisors report.
A couple of things, the Summit, sewer lift station, we have 2 pumps working in there, the one that came out, it's being sent back to the factory to be gone through, because it's really not that old. So we want to find out what's wrong with that, so Summit is running on 2 pumps. Berkshire pump, we had one, kept on tripping the alarms at high amperage. So we put in the spare one. Remember 3 or 4 years ago, we had one rebuilt. We put that in. And we'll see what we get out of the other one. It's already, we're past the cost of repairing it, the one that came out. So we're running on 2 pumps right now there. Car Park 1, the new pump came in and they're actually gonna be installing it tomorrow. We want to have both pumps running when they do the changeover from the new system, the old system to the new system. So they're gonna, Blake is coming down and putting it in for us tomorrow. Other than that, water side is quiet, and we're pumping.
With respect, I know we had the generator issue a while back, leak, whatever, all that's resolved.
Yeah,
That was at the summit.
that's what the summit, that's a lower summit, that's a different station, but yeah.
That's all good. No,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Simple.
I don't know if I address this to Kelly or Tom. You know, pardon me, it's been 4 years. I remember the last thing that I sort of pushed for, and we were gonna look at it, is the exercising of valves. We were supposed to put a program together about exercising all these valves. I don't know where we sit on that, or did we just let it sit there?
Yeah, we haven't really gone out of our way to exercise. We've added, how many insertion valves have we put in?
we put in 2, we put one at the wells and we put one at the bottom.
Yeah, where we saw some critical spots where we needed to have a valve, we've added some valves. We haven't gone out and put a key on every valve to exercise. We have.
I read about the Waterbury issue, which,
Yeah,
you know, of course, there's always a valve involved, and
Yep.
these things are not cheap.
nope. Well, especially on their side because of the size
You know.
and the amount of excavation to reinstall.
Was there a valve in Waterbury? I thought it was a straight line break.
At the time, you know, we were having valve failures all over
Okay.
the place. And, we spoke about, you know, maybe we should put a program together about exercising the valves, because just like in your house there, I'm sure if you go underneath your bathroom sink there, you'll find suddenly your valve is frozen, you know?
Yeah.
And needless to say, in your department, turning these things, it takes a little effort. Yeah, so I remember at the time we said, maybe we should consider a program, taking a look at all of these, the valves in the system, about, you know, periodically exercising them.
Well, a lot of questionable valves, we actually replaced their main replacement. Anywhere we had an issue where we could take out a valve and put a new one in, we have done that. So there's quite a few that have been replaced. But you exercise them, yes, it does need to be done.
How many valves do we have? Or do we have it on, no, man, that's the truth of it. There's a labor piece of this, or how do you execute
Hundreds.
it? How do you,
Yeah. I bet you
is it thousands or
500.
hundreds?
I bet you 500. I bet you it's 500.
Yeah, I wouldn't think thousands.
So we're talking the bigger valves. Like, okay.
Yeah, the main line
Main line
valves.
valves.
Yeah.
Do we have those, on GIS
Yeah, no, we have them in a book.
in a book? Okay.
Yeah, we were in the process of starting that, but right now we've got a valve book. And
Okay.
it pretty much describes where they are and knowing. Because some of them are a little tricky, you know, like for some shut offs, you may have to, or shutdowns, you may just have 1 or 2 valves. Other ones, you may have 4 or 5.
Do you have a note that says hit it with a hammer 3 times?
Well,
Jiggle it.
They have quite a few tricks.
plus on some, when they installed the mains, whenever way back they installed them, they didn't always install the number of valves you would have liked to have seen. So
Okay.
sometimes, like Kelly said, you gotta operate 5 valves to get to this one area that has a break. Like I'm thinking of Nashville.
So in your book, I'm sorry, you had a question. Let me hear.
So
it. Go ahead.
on the new GIS program, will valves be included on that?
Well, the GIS you're talking about from the sewer side, we've probably done more with that.
Or the SCADA, on the water
No,
side?
okay, SCADA, no, that's not gonna really do much with valves. We probably need to get like a, trying to think of the instrument where they go out and they, GPS.
Yeah.
When we had James working in the Public Works Department, he knew how to operate the equipment that we actually had. And, but then he has since left, but, I was hoping utilizing his skills, we would have been able to get out there. It would it's something I'm aware of that we should probably get to, but.
Yeah.
We just have,
So to Richard's point, kind of where I was going, I was asking the same thing about GIS, if it was in there. Can you report back to us, I mean, between the two of you at some point, what are the things like valves, or if there's anything else that we should think about in the future to have on GPS? And we might be able to get a fellow from Westcog or somebody like that to kind of help us map it out someday. If it's valuable enough, like if there are things that you'd like to see where you can look at it and you pull it up, it says the valve is right here and it's mapped out, we could probably get somebody from Westcog to come do that.
well, with their equipment, you gotta have a piece of equipment where you stand over it and then you get the GPS coordinates on it.
Yep.
If that's a service they provide.
When we looked into it probably 10 years ago, they weren't that precise, but now they're precise. You know, that was the thing. I mean, even though I could do a curb box, you'd be lucky if you got within 6 feet of it. But for like a gate valve in the street, it's perfect.
Okay.
You know, and then you know, again, you may have to isolate 7 valves to get one street isolated, or it could be as simple as 2 valves.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's just from a labor standpoint, it's very difficult to take our guys out and go do that. But if we can get help from Westcog or some other source, things come up all the time. So let's kind of put our heads
the thing
together.
is, the boxes are showing. It's
Okay.
just the point of going out and exercising or cleaning.
Yeah, and you're in traffic and, certain streets are pretty busy and so you need traffic control and, if you're really gonna do it,
Sure.
the right way, it can add up real quick.
Even when we did manholes, we had to have valves out there with, when Weston CMC came in and did all the manholes.
Okay. Anything else in your report, sir? Any questions? We can ask a question. Any questions, gentlemen?
Oh, sure, sure.
Hold on.
Okay, oh, shoot.
We got a motion. We do not have a second.
Not having to do with anything. So when I was 6 years on planning and zoning, and the constant complaint from certain loud parts of the community was, we don't have the infrastructure, the town can't handle it, the sewer system, the water system, we don't have the infrastructure. Infrastructure became sort of like a 4-letter word in planning and zoning meetings. We heard it over and over. What I'm hearing in my second meeting, what I'm hearing is that a lot of that information, we're working on it. And we have information. How is this working? How is that working? We're checking on it, to make sure that the town systems are appropriate. I think it would be worth it, maybe Dan, have a special edition of your Friday newsletter, put it out on Thursday or so that it gets people's eyes, put it up on the various Facebook pages if you dare. So that people in the town, especially the ones with the loud negative voices, know that the town is on top of this and that this is working, this could be better. We're working on this, we're working on improving that. I think that for some percentage of that complaining population, it's not going to make a difference because they're going to hear what they want to hear and think what they want to think. But the more information that rational people, maybe if there are any, have about these issues, I think the easier the flow will be, so to speak, at planning and zoning meetings, inland wetland meetings. They'll have answers at their fingertips.
Mhm.
So just a thought to add to your,
Appreciate it.
like you have no other business
No,
to
it's,
do
it's,
during the week, right? You
no,
got nothing else. But
it's a good idea.
I
Making
think-
sure people understand it.
I think it would go not a long way, but certainly a way in cutting down the chatter.
Okay. Point taken. Anybody else? Anything to add?
And no, I didn't volunteer to do it.
No, it's okay. No, listen, you bring up a good point because I always say the problem is in the absence of information on anything, people fill the void. and usually filling the void with information that's not correct. And I know that in the planning and zoning world, what we have as infrastructure always comes up. Some people want to deny things because they don't think we have the infrastructure or have no idea what's, I get it. And I will say this, we have an excellent group of people working for us in public utilities. We have solid infrastructure. We always have our challenges here and there, MIUs in the wintertime or whatever. But we do it really, really well in this town. And I'll be the first one to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can put some more shout outs and
Yeah.
for different things that are going. Like we talked about MIU replacements a few times but if there's other things that we want to talk about, the health of our system, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds to me, it's almost like a departmental annual report. Where do we
To be
stand?
honest, no, I disagree. And here's
You don't
why.
think it's the same thing?
No, I think I got one better for you. It's working with Cat on social media. And it's going out there and it's saying, hey, we've got this thing going on right now, out at the well or whatever. And you got a picture of the Bethel truck and you got Chris out there with his hat on, turning a wrench. And we're explaining piece by piece. We're feeding them constantly. Like, this is what's going on in public utilities. This is what we provide for you. This is like, nobody will read the report. It'll take us a ton of time to do it. But if we develop a strategy and we say, hey, these are the things we need to communicate so people know the health of the system, we need to do a better job of that. And that's why we have, the folks doing and IT doing the social media piece too. But no, if we want to do any report, that's cool too. But I just wanted to make a point that I think we got to really do more social media. I think it's not a bad idea because if people are feeling like they don't understand like what the town is doing for their utilities and their infrastructure, that's a miss on our part. I think it's a great point. And to your point, I want to get it out there more. Yeah.
I know we did put out a lot of info. The most people we've had was it 2 years ago for a rate increase?
Yep.
So we were explaining what we were doing, what we've done and why
Yeah.
we needed money at percentages that we needed.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of explained how we've spent like $25 million over the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
And we've improved pump stations and we've got a new source now and we've got storage tanks and we've replaced mains. So, I think the people that were in the room, I think they understood. And I don't think there were too many people jumping up and down about it. I think they got it.
Penny, I'd just like to just respond to one thing. I know there are issues they're all concerned with, but I can tell you from my perspective, 20 years ago, we didn't even have a balance sheet. We kept on asking at the time, our controller at the time, so where are we? Don't worry about it. We've got an account here. This is the way we operated for the last, at least I want to say for the last 20 years. I can tell you, the plateau that we were like this, and this particular committee has been doing nothing but this on a positive track. We have basically put this the commission has put this both water and sewer on a positive side. At one time, we didn't even know when the last rate was increased. When I joined back in 2005, I think they said the last rate was like 1992. You have to take a look at the total general picture. It's just not one particular issue. This particular commission, I know Rich and I especially, we sat on this thing a long time. And I'll tell you the thing that I've always said, and Rich has said the same thing. If there's ever been a commission that we enjoyed sitting on, it's the Public Utilities Commission, because we actually seen where things got done and we actually approved things for the benefit of the people. It's been a very positive thing with this commission here. And I have to compliment Kelly. These guys are the workhorses behind the whole thing here. But everything we have done so far has been on the upside. Believe me.
And Paul, more people need to hear that. The complainers may not pay attention, but the people that would respond to the complainers, they need to know that. So they have a positive response.
Sure.
Otherwise,
They don't know we exist half the
Right.
time.
exactly,
They just know the stuff goes away from their house.
right, maybe.
But for the most part, if you want to take a look at water and sewer.
Yeah, so it's
It's been the most
Yeah.
positive department in this town's history.
Yeah.
I can say for the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
They're moving in the right direction.
So actually, I do not want to shut you down if you have something to say. I'm not ready to wrap up though.
They're young yet,
Okay.
back here. Years ago, this was controlled by the Public Works Department. Which did the water, sewer, everything. So everything went through with Dick Masali, three selectmen, and two other guys. And later on, the water and sewer was combined, but they never split the water from the sewer. So the water always had money, the sewer was always back. What they did, they borrowed from Peter to take the fall. So later on, they separated it, made water one, sewer the other. That's where we're able to move ahead. And that's what really helped progress this before, but that's what really got this department going, yeah. Okay, just want to let you know that.
No, very true.
So
Very true.
we have a motion without a second.
Second,
Rich has made a motion to adjourn.
second.
Give a second. It's a non-debatable motion, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
You always got to keep the word. At one time, we combined our water and sewer.
Melanie says his best.